a special meeting. I'd like to open up a special meeting for the Portland Water District. This is a public hearing for proposed increase in the rate for the water rate. So I'll open the meeting now. Could I ask for attendance, please?
Trustee Joseph Savisky, representing Cape Elizabeth and South Portland.
Present.
Louise Douglas, representing Wyndham and Raymond.
Here.
Daniel Willett, representing Gorham.
Yep.
Gary Libby, representing Portland. William Lent, representing Falmouth.
Here.
Leroy Crockett, representing Scarborough. Kenneth Levinsky, representing Portland.
Here.
Frederick McCann, representing Portland.
Present.
And Charles Shattuck Hydorn, representing Portland.
I am also here.
Thank you. I'll open this up for a small presentation from our treasurer to explain the rate issue, and then we'll open it up for the public comments.
Well, good evening. Yeah, we are doing a public hearing for a proposed rate adjustment. This is consistent with the board policy to hold a public hearing before we implement a rate. Also, as part of that policy, we're required to send out a notice to all customers. They received it several weeks ago, announcing the meeting tonight with a summary of the rate adjustment request. We are asking for proposing a $1.8 million adjustment in rates, 5.9% increase. That 1.89 fully funds the proposed 2025 budget that we're in the process of reviewing. I know we had committee earlier this evening. They were reviewing the budget. We'll have a capital budget review later this evening, and further reviews will be going on. So what do we do with the money that we raise? We try to meet the mission that we have, which is to protect public health, safety, and the environment, providing customers with high quality, reliable, affordable water services. More specifically, we do things like protect the Spago Lake. We do inspection, education, land acquisition, and preservation efforts. We protect and conserve the watershed area. We have a staff of 7 and spend about $1.4 million annually on that effort. And since the year 2000, we've conserved over 15,000 acres of land, or 6% of our watershed. We also treat, pump, distribute water for drinking and fire protection purposes. We serve over 200,000 customers and deliver over 6 billion gallons of water each year. We have 55 staff members that work out in the field. They spend about $11 million annually. We have 2 treatment systems. The primary one is up in Standish, drawing water from Sebago Lake, and a small well system in the Steep Falls area of Standish. Over 1,000 miles of pipe they maintain, 5,300 hydrants, 55,000 meters. We also maintain water systems to ensure water qualities. We have an 8-person lab staff that spends about $1.3 million a year. They do, I've been told, about 15,000 water and wastewater tests throughout the year to make sure the water quality and the effluent is appropriate. And one of the key focuses in the past couple of years has been to review our service territory piping system to see if there's any lead service pipes there. They've done a complete inventory of our system, and they identified, I think, a couple of pipes. We've already placed that ahead of the federal requirement, so they've done a good job there as well. And we also reinvest in our infrastructure. We are in the proposed budget. We have over $29 million of capital improvements that we're proposing. That's to maintain part of our $600 million worth of assets that we have. Those assets have about $5 billion worth of replacement value. So we have an aging infrastructure. A lot of those pipes were put in over 75 years ago, and they're starting to come to the end of its useful life. So that's what we do with the money that the customers give us. So when we're looking for the adjustments and how much we need, what are the two of the major factors that we look at? We look at how much revenue we need to operate next year, and we need to know how much water that customers will use in the following year. So this chart shows the what we need next year, $32.9 million. There's three major components. Down on the bottom left, there's wages and benefits, which is about 40% of the water budget. And the blue side is the capital lease finance related cost, which is 38% of the budget, and everything else is 22% of the budget. The major changes for between the 2 years and the increase from last year in the wage and benefits side, they're up about $700,000. There's a cost of living adjustment for staff, as well as funding benefits, including we unfortunately had a 25% increase in our health insurance costs next year. So that's a significant increase in that line item. And the other expense line item, we're about flat, so that overall those expenses haven't changed much between the 2 years. And the big change occurred in the capital finance area, where we're up $1.5 million. That's due to the increased debt service cost that we will be incurring on the capital projects, and some so-called PAYGO money that we've included in the budget to pay for capital projects. And this is the list of those capital projects. On the water side, there's about $29 million of planned projects next year. You can see two of the biggest numbers relate to water mains. At the top line, there's almost $14 million of old water lines that we plan on replacing. And in the middle of the page, there's $10 million for a new main on the Chute Road in Wyndham that will help transmit water into an area that's growing and will need additional water in the future. Our treatment facility up at Sebago Lake is starting to show its age. We need to start investing in that facility. We've got about $2 million worth of replacement work we plan on doing next year. And then there's $1.5 million for SCADA instrumentation, other facility projects. So if those expenses, those operating expenses and capital expenses are paid for by the revenue we generate, the most significant place we get revenue is from bills to customers that use water, the consumption-based customers. You can see the blue there by customer classes. We have residential sales are $19 million, commercial $6 million, industrial $1.4 million, and public $2.3 million. The other source of revenue is related to fire protection services. We have people with private fire or sprinkler system. They paid about $1.5 million. And we have a public fire protection charge, $1.8 million. That's for the hydrant and delivering water to fight fires. So that's where the revenue comes from. The other key determinant of rates is what you think people will use consumption-wise in the following year. So for the 2025 budget, we've assumed an increase up to 8.4 million 100 cubic feet for next year. That increase relates to we've had really good industrial sales for the past year, specifically Calpine has gone up quite a bit. So we decided to assume some of that increase will continue into the following year. But you do see over time, the volume of water does fluctuate a lot determined by the weather. Summer weather, if it's a very warm dry summer, you use more water. So, but anyway, for next year, we assumed 8.4, which is slightly higher than last year assumed consumption. So the higher the consumption, the lower the rate increase that we need. So how are the water rate designed for consumption-based customers? They all have a fixed minimum charge based on the meter size. And to that, we add a variable charge based on the amount of water that you use. Fire protection charges, private fire protection charges are based on the size of the meter that you need to serve your sprinkler system for the most part. To give you a better understanding of how that impacts customers, these are a typical residential customer and industrial customer on the screen here. For a residential customer, the most typical size meter is a 5/8 size meter, and the average customer uses 700 cubic feet per month. The minimum charge currently is $11.49. It will increase to $12.08 under the proposed rate adjustment. The usage charge for the 600 cubic feet would be $17.22 now, would go up to $18.22. So the total bill is going up less than $1.50 for the typical residential customer. The same type of math is done on the industrial side, and you can see their typical bill would go up $174. On the public fire protection charges that we charge to the local municipalities, those fees are based on the number of hydrants each community has and the amount of mains, pipes that they have in the community. So the proposed increase that we have, is the total overall increase is 5.9%. It varies by customer classes. As I know a board knows, is that we have a policy of charging the smaller customer a lower rate adjustment and the larger customers a higher rate. That's due to a cost of service study that we did 8 years ago, which indicated that the larger customers aren't paying their full cost of service. So over time, we're increasing the rates for those larger customers, commercial industrial customers, for the most part, at a higher clip than the residential customers. And as a reminder, we do have a low income rate that's available to customers who qualify for the state heating assistance program. That subsidy now is increased to a little more than $9 a month for those customers. You can see the chart of how many customers we currently have enrolled in that program, about 600 customers. For those customers who are eligible, I mean, they can contact Opportunity Alliance, who oversee the heating system program. If they qualify you for that program, they let us know if you're a Portland Water District customer, and we add you to the list. So in summary, the typical residential increase is $1.49 per month. The additional revenue is largely directed to the water main renewal and other main projects. Without the 5.9% increase, we would run a deficit of $1.89 million. With the increase, it will meet all the expenses that we need, including the addition $1.3 million to our capital reserve to pay for the water main projects. There's more information on our website. That's that you can look at. And the board is seeking your input, so you can share your thoughts with our customer service staff at that telephone number, or email them at the email address, and the trustees' address is also online if they want to directly communicate with trustees. So the next step in the process is the board will complete the review of the 2020 next year's budget. They'll consider any feedback they get from customers. And then at this point, we plan on voting for the rate adjustment at the November 25th meeting. And with that, I'll open up to any questions or comments.
Any questions for treasurer? Seeing none, thank you, David. I would open it up to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to comment on the rate issue? I don't see anybody here at the district. Is there anybody online? And there's nobody online, so we don't need to keep it open. The public hearing is adjourned. Therefore, the special meeting is adjourned.